Hey, this is Rick. It's been a few days since I updated everybody with what's going on. Have a little bit of information for you. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Rick, also known as the Duke City Devil Dog. Just a couple of updates for you. Today is Thursday, the 29th of August, 2019. Um, just getting ready to go to work for the day. Just wanted to update you on a couple of things. Um, First of all, I'm still on my way to changing careers here. Um, just want to make sure that you understand I'm still pursuing that. I'm going with that. In fact, this week I had two really big things go on. One is I got my DOT physical card, and second, I actually got my commercial learner's permit. So those two things are done. Um, Now all I'm waiting is to hear from one or two trucking companies just to make sure I decide which one I want to go with. And my goal is to be on the way out there early next month. So not next month, but early in October. Um, it's almost September, so early in October. So want to try to get a few things locked down before the end of the month, which is a couple days away. That way I can, do what I should do. I'm not the kind of person who is just going to run out and skip out on my, my responsibilities as far as, giving a 30-day for my apartment, given 2 weeks at work and that kind of stuff. So, but my plan is by the end of September to be done with my current position and to get started in towards my trucking career about the first week in October. So that's the goal. Just a couple of things for to let you know. I'm still, of course, doing the CPAP therapy that I need to do because of, if you've been watching my videos, I got diagnosed with sleep apnea. I would suggest that if you think you're at risk for sleep apnea and you're thinking about going into truck driving, that you get evaluated, especially if you're a veteran, because there's really no cost to do it, but get evaluated before, because what I've read is that people who have waited, even if your DOT physician, if you get a DOT physical before you go to a school somewhere or before you go for orientation or whatever, if they think when you get there that you need to be evaluated for sleep apnea, they're going to make you do that before you do anything else, which could entail you having to turn around, come back home, put a little thorn in everything. Me, I wanted to be proactive, so I got it done ahead of time. I did about 30 days of compliance, and I was able to get a 1-year DOT physical card. I'll have to get it renewed every year because as long as I'm diagnosed with sleep apnea, hopefully, I know not a lot of truck drivers do this, but my goal is going to be to lose a little bit of weight while I'm out there. So when I can do, if I do that and I can, get the sleep apnea to regress where I don't have to worry about the therapy as much, then I will do that. However, I want to say this. I have noticed since being on CPAP therapy that I have not felt as tired during the day. I've also felt that overall, it hasn't been as uncomfortable as it was in the past. Every now and then my nose gets a little sore because I switched to to the nose pillows instead of the full face mask, and I like those a lot better, but my nose does get a little sore. I may end up spending a little money out of my pocket to get a different style of mask to see if it's a little easier, but we'll see as far as that. So so that said, like I said, if you think you might have CPAP, need a CPAP, if you think you might have sleep apnea, get it taken care of before, get it evaluated before, and that way you have some documentation, or you've been doing the therapy, so you don't have to have, my fear was I would quit my job, give up my apartment, and then get sent back from up there. So that's, something I didn't want to have to deal with. So I got it done early. Other thing is, DOT physical really wasn't, I was surprised. I was concerned about a couple of things, but didn't end up being a problem. The number one thing I was sort of concerned about was actually, besides the sleep apnea part, was my hearing a little bit. My right ear is not so good. My left ear is a lot better, and you have to do that force whisper test in your best ear. I was able to do it in my left ear really good. So I didn't have to worry about it. It's my my alarm clock talking again. Anyway, so but it wasn't a problem. I mean, I was really surprised how easy it was. So good for that. But I just wanted to also let you know, I taking the 3 tests for CLP. You've got plenty of time to take it. When you're there, at least here in New Mexico. I think each test you get 2 hours. You get to pass questions. One of the best suggestions that I saw and that I used was to pass questions that you're not 100% sure of. And the reason why is because once you get to that 80% mark, the test is over. I mean, it stops and says, "Hey, congratulations, you passed." So I was able not to have to guess on some of those, and if I had to come back, I could have and made some educated guesses, but luckily I didn't have to do that. And some of the questions took a little bit of thought. I did a lot of the practice tests. I read all the excuse me, the manuals and everything, but some of them you had to think through a little bit, and just take your time. That's the biggest thing. 2 hours to answer 50 questions in the first one, 2 hours to answer 30 questions in the second, and I think there were 20 on the third, on the air brakes test. 2 hours to do that. You have got plenty of time to take your time and think through the questions if you need to, and it didn't end up being a problem. I will tell you that even though it didn't take me 2 hours per test, it did take me about 3.5, 4 hours at the DMV, and the biggest reason behind that was for some reason they wouldn't give me all 3 tests at once, so I had to take one, go up, tell them I was done. They had to load another one and do that instead of loading all 3. And I think from what I gather, it's because some people only take one at a time. Some people, by the time they finish the first one, go, "I don't want to take the other one." If they're committed, if they've already put that in there, then that counts as an attempt, I guess, or it might, from what I can gather. So they just do it one at a time. So, but plan on spending some time there. Make sure you take all your documentation. I had to make sure and take there's a list of documentation that my state has, probably yours does. Make sure you have all that. You don't want to go there and not have everything lined up. So make sure you do that, and you should be good to go. That said, I will update you as soon as I find out for sure about where I'm going, what I'm going to be doing as far as that. In the meantime, I'm just going to be, I've already started to put stuff in storage. I've already been getting rid of some other stuff. So just looking forward to that kind of stuff. But to getting really everything done so that by the middle of September, I'm just going to have a minimal amount of stuff here that I'm pretty much ready to go. So hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great weekend. Labor Day weekend's coming up. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. If you do drink, don't drive. There's a lot of programs out there with that can get you home really cheap. But I know for me, I went out when I went to Gallup recently and went and had a drink with some people, and I made sure I wasn't driving at all, because I know if anything like that would have thrown a huge wrench into what my goals are, and I didn't want that to get in the way. Even worse than can throwing a wrench into what your goals are, you can hurt yourself or somebody else. And so please, if you're drinking, find another way home than driving. Okay? Have a great one, and I will see you soon.